This is a quick review of our trig ratios with side lengths. So when we have a right triangle, the first thing you want to do is label your hypotenuse and then highlight which angle you want to look at. Label your parts opposite and adjacent in relationship to that angle. And then the sine of that angle is the opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and the tangent is the opposite over adjacent. And it doesn't matter which angle you're looking at. If you decide to do B, then you need to highlight B and label in relationship to that angle. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent, or SOHCAHTOA. Okay, I'm going to do one example here. And you take notice that we are missing a side. So we're missing side KM. So here's our hypotenuse. So we're trying to find a side and not a hypotenuse. Use Pythagorean theorem. Take the square root, and now you have your side length. Then we revert back to our procedure I just showed you before. We already have our hypotenuse marked, and I want in relationship to angle L. So this is opposite and adjacent. The sine of L is opposite over hypotenuse, and we need to reduce that. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay, looking at some examples where we're given the angle. If our variable is in the numerator, we multiply. If it's in the denominator, we divide. So let's look at this example. Our angle, mark our parts, hypotenuse and adjacent. So we're going to use cosine. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Our variable is in the numerator, so we multiply. Putting that in our calculator, we get 24.3. Looking at the next example, highlight, mark, and this is the sine function, opposite over hypotenuse. This time we're in the denominator, so we divide. So putting that in the calculator, we get 27.5. Okay, and then I have one word problem example. Draw a picture. So we have a ramp. Let me just put a different color here. We have a ramp going to a cargo door that is 7 feet from the ground. The angle with the ground and the ramp is 25 degrees. How long is the ramp? That's our hypotenuse. So what do we have here? We have opposite, opposite and hypotenuse. So we have the sine 25 equals 7 over x. Denominator, divide. You get 16.5 feet. And that was a quick